Have you ever had a coach? I know that when I was younger and I did gymnastics and soccer and ran track, I always had my coach cheering me on. But the reality is, most of the time, I didn't like my coach. I didn't like that they were pushing me. I didn't like that they were sometimes yelling at me. What I loved, though, was the results they got me. That is the power of a good coach. And that is what we're talking about today on Women Winning Their Way. The idea of having somebody in your corner who is helping you dig deep and to bring out the very best in you so that you don't have to just focus on setting goals. You can really focus on getting those goals. I'm Clara Capano, and this is Women Winning Their Way. Here at Women Winning Their Way, we talk about the importance of self-care. With it being open enrollment for health insurance, we have partnered with Leela Smith, the owner of Etta and Associates, who is licensed in over 30 states, to make sure that all of us have the best coverage for ourselves and our families. I've been a client of Etta and Associates for over 2 years, and I feel 1,000% confident that I'm covered for all of my basic needs, along with any unexpected surprises. Your health matters, so make sure that you are covered. Call or text Leela's team today and set yourself up with a free consultation to review your coverage options and to ensure that you and your business are protected. Welcome to another episode of Women Winning Their Way. This is a special one for me because I get to bring in one of my dear friends and one of my mentors who has helped me to lay my path to success. So I am really excited. So Evelyn, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Claire. It's so nice to be here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we met.
And excited to be on your show.
No, you're fantastic. We met several years ago. We were doing some training through Ninja together and just sort of became fast friends and have stayed connected over the years. So just briefly, why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself to us real quick?
Well, I've had a great career in the real estate industry, having gotten into the business selling real estate in the southwest or northwest suburbs of Illinois. And really started out my career in sales, doing quite well, and moved into leadership, moved into training, consulting, coaching. I've had the opportunity to work with some very large companies throughout my career, travel throughout the country, and really help to grow not only realtors, loan officers, but there was a time where I was a consultant for many brokers throughout the country, helping them in their businesses and getting their businesses developed. So I know that my calling has always been in education. I love, and when we're in sales, when we're selling real estate, I truly believe that the job that we hold is to educate. And that's what drew me to Ninja and how we met back in, I think it was 2013. And it's just, and I've always been a ninja at heart, where I really truly believe that it's all about relationships. And so my career has been one that was a game changer in my life. I was a single mom raising 2 daughters, and I really needed a career path. And that's what real estate can do for people. And because of that, I love being able to help people create their path as well and their journey, and be that person who's their advocate and their sounding board, just like I have had in my career. I've had some really good mentors and people that I coach with, and I'm in a mastermind coaching group myself, which helps to keep me balanced as a coach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's just a little bit about myself.
Definitely. And I want to dive into some more of that. But before we do that, the title of the show is Women Winning Their Way. When you
Right.
do that, what does that even mean to you?
What I believe it's all about is women having a voice. And so when I was a young mother and in my time, it was, women weren't really supposed to be having that voice. And it just didn't make any sense to me. It wasn't common sense. And so I was able to gain traction through just changing and being a model to the two daughters that I have, and really proud of that. So I believe that women have an equal place in the world and have many, many strengths that they bring and complement men as well. So it's just, I think that all of us need to have a voice. It's not just women out there, but
Yeah.
being able to be that role model to my daughters was really something that was very important to me. And it's a story that at some point I might share in a book.
You
Because
should.
what's that?
You should.
Well, I was not in a good place in a marriage, and I had to be able to find a way out of that marriage in order to afford taking care of my daughters, and that was through my real estate career.
Yeah.
So I've really been very, very fortunate, and it's just been a journey, and that's something I will say, that because of the things that I've gone through in my life, I also weave a lot of life coaching, and I've done some life coaching as well
Yeah.
into my business coaching, because it really, if our foundation in our home life isn't steady and isn't strong, it is going to impact how we show up in the world.
Absolutely. So, one of the
Mhm.
reasons I really wanted to have you on the show is this idea of growth and opening doors. When we look at creating success and having our own voice, none of us can do it alone. And, you not only help people with their growth, but you open doors for people, not just other women, but other people. And that's, again, kind
Mhm.
of what led you on your path as a coach. So, as women in business, talk a little bit about how important it is for us to, one, have a mentor or a coach that we can go to help us create our path, and then two, the flip side of why it's so important as women in business to be a mentor to other people.
Okay, so I'll answer the first part of it. It's being able to have that person as a coach. I think we all need. I've had it several. I still have a coach, and it's having that person who is the sounding board. And we have so many thoughts per day, and it's what is our belief system. So the belief system, from wherever it is we've come from, we have, I believe it's a practice every day that we work on that mindset of what we want to be able to achieve and do in the world. But by having somebody who keeps us accountable to the goals that we set is going to help us in achieving those goals. And so it's really about having a sounding board, somebody who's going to also give you the ability to have objectivity. So
Mm,
sometimes we can get caught in our own stuff.
okay.
And for example, I'll have people who will be like, well, I don't want to have to bother the people. And then I'll talk to them a little bit about that. And really where that stems from is somebody told them not to bother the people.
Hmm.
And so it's their own stuff, and it's about getting out of our own way. So I believe having a coach is somebody who is really going to help lead you to where it is that you want to get,
Yeah.
and be able to have that person who you trust, who has confidentiality, isn't going to share anything that you talk about with them to somebody else, unless of course they give you permission.
Sure.
So
Absolutely.
that's the first part of the question. What was the second part of the question?
The second part is why, as women in business, it's so important to remember to pay it back and to be a mentor for others. Because I think the old way of thinking was competition, that I don't want to share my secrets because they might take my job, they might take my opportunity from me. And I wouldn't be where I am without so many wonderful people in my life opening doors for me. And I think we
Mhm.
have to remember to do that. So, as women in business, why should we remember, and why should we also give our time to give back to the next generation?
Okay, here's my belief system. So as a leader in my life, I believe that leaders, just like a parent, and whether you're a parent or not, but for me as a parent, I want to see my children do better than me,
Mm.
right? So as a leader, those that I am connected to, I want to help see people do even better than maybe what I have been able to do in my life. And I went out and pursued different changes in my career that really helped to grow me. And each time I took that risk. So, for example, when I went to interview and interview for a position to be training in real estate, I had been selling real estate. I had not been training it. So when it was time to get up in front of 100 people, I was literally scared to death. And I had read somewhere that if you hold something in your pocket um, and you kind of squeeze onto that, it's going to help your brain to focus a little bit more on what you're holding in your hand and get out of your own way and get those butterflies to calm down a little bit. But why am I sharing that? I'm sharing that because that opportunity came to me because I had another leader who saw the talent. And I went in, my second interview was going in and talking about farming, door knocking, cold calling, and farming. And it was 45 minutes. Nobody prepped me, and there's 100 people. And that was a defining moment. That was one of the steps that took me towards getting that position. So in my early career, there were certain things that I didn't want to do, but why am I sharing that story? I'm sharing it because what that did, as much fear as I had, it helped me to grow confidence.
Mm-hmm.
So every time we overcome something that we're afraid to do, it's going to build that confidence. And by having that confidence, that's something that we can then, through that wisdom, share with others that we want to help build and help them grow to where they want to be.
Yeah, for sure. And I love the idea that, it's almost an obligation that we have to lead others to be better, than even us. And I really like that analogy of looking at that even from, how we want that for our kids, but we should be able to be leading others to be stronger. I want to go ahead and just kind of share some of your and highlight some of your expertise. So let's get into a little bit of coaching because a lot of the people
Okay.
who are following this show are entrepreneurs. They're not just in real estate, they're in all different
Right.
levels. And you hit on this idea that we overcomplicate it, we get in our own way. And I know we can get in our own way from our belief systems, from not managing time well, getting distracted by things. So if you are working with someone who is an entrepreneur and they are, let's say, losing time, they're getting distracted, and
Mhm.
they're not really doing what they should be doing, how do you coach some people to get back into focus?
One of the things that I have them do is I basically ask them to carve out and commit to spending at least on a Sunday afternoon or a Monday morning, or maybe even the Friday before, but spending at least 30 to 45 minutes of planning out what they want to accomplish for the week.
Mhm.
And what are those big rocks for the week that
Yeah.
they need to be working on? And from that, it's carving down to being able to schedule each day out
Mm.
and really be committed to creating blocks of time that are non-negotiable.
Yeah. I love that.
And
The
calling it, I
non-negotiable.
call it the perfect week, but it's being able to really set a schedule that one is going to try to commit to live by. And that schedule includes things like I have one person who pickleballs. Pickleball is really important to them. And it's also good networking for them because they're getting business from that. So that goes into the calendar. So it's not just appointments that we have for business, but it's also putting in the self-care that I believe is so important to being able to have a good attitude in life.
Yeah. And again, when you plan ahead, it gets our mind in the game and we have
Mhm.
a higher tendency of showing up. So I think that that's, really smart. And I love the idea of the non-negotiables because I think we all know what we need to do. It brings
Right.
us back though to, are we willing to do those? And when you can get clear on the non-negotiables, you don't have to do everything, but let's build a schedule around those things that are non-negotiable, the things that are most
Mhm.
important to us, I think is great. So, what about this concept of self sabotage? Because again, I think we sabotage ourselves. You brought up the concept of sometimes we listen to things that people told us years ago. So, if somebody it's a mindset piece. What do you do to coach people into more of an abundant mindset?
I'm a big believer in affirmations, and it's to me, affirmations are a game changer. It was something that I was doing even before I understood what an affirmation was.
Mhm.
And when I look back, even in my childhood, when I wanted to attain a goal, being able to maybe purchase something that was a big ticket item at the time, I would actually write that goal out. That's like doing an affirmation. And so it's having a morning routine. And some people, not everybody's a morning person. And
Mhm.
so it's really being able to understand, am I a morning person? Am I a night person? When am I at my best? And sometimes there's people who don't do morning routines. It works out better to really have
Mhm.
reflection time in the evening.
Yeah.
And so it's doing affirmations. It's really introducing ourselves to something that is going to help us to manifest what it is we're looking for. So, mastery, whether it's a quote of the day or some kind of motivational video, but a lot of people will do their prayers. And that's, to me, that's that devotional time works out as well. But it's just taking that time to really be with oneself in order to get connected
Mhm.
and help bring in those good vibrations that are going to attract others to us.
Yeah. I really appreciate when you say to reflect on yourself of when are you at your best. Even though we might look at studies and we might even say that 97% of professionals or successful professionals are morning people, that doesn't mean you have to be. So I
Correct.
think that's the what we have to do when we talk about, winning our way. Part of it is also knowing ourselves. When do
Yes.
we operate at the best? And let's build our plan around that. So I think that that is critical. So
Mhm.
thanks for bringing that up. You know,
You're welcome.
yeah, you mentioned that, you have a coach. I have coaches. I'm a firm believer like you are. It has helped me to get to where I need to go. When someone is looking for a coach, what would you say are some of the critical attributes? If you're interviewing, what are some questions you should ask? How do you go about finding the right coach for you?
I believe that you want to find that person who is really going to help to be a person that you really connect to, right? So it's knowing that that person truly has your back.
Mm-hmm.
There's a trust factor, and that that person is going to do what they say they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we can have a lot of words, but action has to meet the words that we say.
Yeah.
And so it's really having and there's affordability, of course, but there's being able to have that person that is really wanting to see the best for you
Mm-hmm.
and is going to help to get you where you want to be. So it's asking questions like what is it that you want to do in your business, and what is it that you want to focus on, and being the coach needing to be very direct and honest that yes, that's something I can help you get to.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Absolutely.
have business owners as well that really need to um, look at what is lacking, that what can they put into their business that's going to help to improve their business.
Yeah. I like that.
And
And
I
I
don't know if that answers it, but I remember when years and years ago I was looking for somebody to help me in not just my personal life but my business life. And I literally interviewed, I don't know, 4 or 5 different people, and it was that fifth person that we really clicked with, and she changed my life.
Mhm.
And it took a little bit of time to find that right person, because there were times where she would say, "Hey, you're really looking at this wrong." And
Mhm.
I'd be like pretty resistant. And then I would listen. And that was when changes would happen. I had another mentor in my life, and he just the his style was through a place of love. And he came in one day and he said, and I still hear his words. He said, you're one of my favorite people. I just absolutely love you, but I have to say, you think you can change people. and
Mhm.
you can't.
Mhm.
And when you learn that you cannot do that, that's going to be a big stepping stone for you. And so later in life, and I was maybe mid 30s at that time. So later in life, when I'd be like getting all gung ho, I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I cannot change that person. I can only make suggestions
Yeah.
and invite them to look at maybe making a difference in their lives.
Absolutely. And I think, you really hit on it when you have to be able to have trust because you have to
Yes.
know that when they bring these things, they are coming from love because they
Mhm.
want, again, what's better for you. So being able to make sure that this is somebody, like you said, with the confidentiality, with putting their own egos aside and making it so that they can help you. But even when I think about when I was younger and I did gymnastics or sports, I didn't always like my coach. I liked the result,
Right.
but I didn't always like my coach. And I think that, you have to look for it's not necessarily the likability factor. It's the are they going to help bring the best out of me and help me
Exactly.
get to where I want? So I think that that was great.
That's such a good point, Clara. And that's why I say the trust factor
Mhm.
is imperative,
Yeah.
because when I have people who are feeling a little bit down and out because business is slower, it's like, okay, well, what are we going to do the things you need to do that you have been avoiding,
Yeah. It's
right? And
it's so true. I mean, it's a big difference between you know what you need to do. Are you willing to do those things?
exactly,
Totally different concept.
right, exactly, exactly. Mhm.
Well, again, you have accomplished so many things, in your career. And I know every day you are always giving back and pouring into others so that they can create their own legacies. And I would just love to know, what is it that you're working on now? What's next for Evelyn?
Well, what I'm doing right now is I'm coaching. I've been coaching people in their real estate businesses, and I coach loan officers. I do some life coaching as well. And I'm just looking to grow the business, continue to grow the business, and let people know that I'm out, I'm here, I'm available as a coach. Uh, Love to coach and love to make a difference in people's life. I know my calling and my purpose is truly about helping to be that person's partner in their business. And I truly, many of the people that I coach will say to me, "You are one of my team."
Hmm.
And even in between a coaching call, I will have somebody send a text and say, "Hey, do you have a minute?" And I will take that time to once I'm available to get on a call and talk things through, because some days are harder than others, and some days you need that person to kind of talk you off the ledge. So that's something that I incorporate into my coaching. It's just not when we have our appointments. I'm there in between because I truly want to see people reach their goals and be successful with what they choose to do in their lives and their businesses.
Oh, fantastic. Well, again,
Thank
I
you.
know that you have been there for me, early on in my
Thank you,
career. You
Sarah.
opened some doors for me and you are always, a great guiding light for me. And I know that you are doing that for so many others. We are going to put all your information in the show notes. So if there's anyone out there that is following that is looking for someone that can coach you to excellence, I definitely encourage you, whether you're in real estate or another business, definitely reach out to Evelyn. She knows what she's talking about and she will always have your best interests at heart in everything that she does. So Evelyn, the last question I have for you before we close everything out is sitting where you sit now, how do you define success for yourself today?
I believe success is when one feels really good about what they've done in their life and what they continue to be doing. Success to me is knowing that you're in tuned with your purpose and you are living your life as to the best of your ability. So that's success. I don't think success is always in dollars. It's nice to have. We need to pay our bills, but I do believe there's more to success than just the monetary. Even though monetary is definitely something that is necessary. And so success is just being really comfortable with who you are and the fact that you've been able to achieve certain things in life and can look back and say, "Boy, I did that." And I don't know how, but I did it.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, Evelyn,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much. It has just been such a pleasure having you. Thank you for everything that you've done for me. Thank you for continuing to
You're
support
welcome.
others in their
Thank
growth.
you.
And I just wish you continued success in everything that you do.
I appreciate it, and I know we're gonna have a great 2025.
It's going to be
Thanks,
excellent.
Clara.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Take care.
Well, I hope you took a lot of notes on that one because Evelyn gave us some great coaching along the way. Some of the things that she talked about is, again, owning your voice and creating your path. One of the things that I love that she said is really living in alignment and knowing how you operate best so that when you put your plan together, your weekly plan, your schedule, it's there for you to support you in giving your best. So knowing you don't have to listen to what others do. I mean, listen, bring it in, but you've really got to make sure that it's in alignment. She brought up the idea of really knowing your non negotiables. I think that is critical. Know your non negotiables for both your life and your business. That's what you want to focus on. That is what you want to build your success plan around, is starting with those non negotiables. Because if you can really show up for those 3 to 5 non negotiables and build your plan around those, you're going to see amazing success. I love when she talked about we have to be able to lead others. As we lead ourselves, we also lead others. And just know no one achieves success on their own. So remember the mentors that helped you and maybe be that mentor for someone else. I love when she talked about the weekly plan. You've heard me, I've talked about that too. Take some time before the week starts to put your goals and to put your optimal week out there. It's going to help you. And then just knowing success isn't always measured in dollars. Sometimes it's measured in impact. Sometimes it's measured in quality of life. And are we bringing that harmony in? So I hope that you took a lot away and got some great coaching from Evelyn. Please make sure that you are sharing these shows, you are liking them, rating them, and reviewing them. And we will see you next time. I'm Clara Capano, and thanks for being here for another episode of Women Winning Their Way.